Hello. Today, Grace Paley. If you don't know her, she was a short story writer, poet, essayist, and intensely dedicated activist, political activist. Much admired writer, very unusual, beautiful, unusual writer. One of the people that did first-person narrative in a very unusual and refreshing way. Ursula Gwynn on the back of this book says, Grace Paley is the most intelligent, generous, incorruptible writer I ever knew. Keen wit and real modesty seldom occur in such happy alliance. And I'm going to read to you from a story called A Conversation with My Father. My father is 86 years old and in bed. His heart, that bloody motor, is equally old and will not do certain jobs anymore. It still floods his head with brainy light, but it won't let his legs carry the weight of his body around the house. Despite my metaphors, this muscle failure is not due to his old heart, he says, but to a potassium shortage. Sitting on one pillow, leaning on three, he offers last-minute advice and makes a request. I would like you to write a simple story just once more, he says, the kind Maupassant wrote, or Chekhov, the kind you used to write. Just recognizable people, and then write down what happened to them next. I say yes, why not? That's possible. I want to please him, though I don't remember writing that way. I would like to try to tell such a story if he means the kind that begins, there was a woman, followed by plot, the absolute line between 2 points which I've always despised. Not for literary reasons, but because it takes all hope away. Everyone, real or invented, deserves the open destiny of life. Finally, I thought of a story that had been happening for a couple of years right across the street. I wrote it down, then read it aloud. Pa, I said, how about this? Do you mean something like this? Once in my time there was a woman and she had a son. They lived nicely in a small apartment in Manhattan. This boy at about 15 became a junkie, which is not unusual in our neighborhood. In order to maintain her close friendship with him, she became a junkie too. She said it was part of the youth culture with which she felt very much at home. After a while, for a number of reasons, the boy gave it all up and left the city and his mother in disgust. Hopeless and alone, she grieved. We all visit her. Okay, Pa, that's it, I said. An unadorned and miserable tale. But that's not what I mean, my father said. You misunderstood me on purpose. You know there's a lot more to it. You know that. You left everything out. Turgenev wouldn't do that. Chekhov wouldn't do that. There are, in fact, Russian writers you never heard of, you don't have an inkling of, as good as anyone, who can write a plain, ordinary story who would not leave out what you have left out. I object not to facts, but to people sitting in trees, talking senselessly, voice from who knows where. Forget that one, Pa. What have I left out now in this one? Her looks, for instance. Oh, quite handsome, I think, yes. Her hair? Dark with heavy braids, as though she were a girl or a foreigner. What were her parents like, her stock, that she became such a person? It's interesting, you know. From out of town, professional people, the first to be divorced in their country. How's that? Enough? I said. With you, it's all a joke, he said. What about the boy's father? Why didn't you mention him? Who was he? Or was the boy born out of wedlock? Yes, I said. He was born out of wedlock.